Hello and welcome to Sports Desk.
And welcome back to another episode of Head to Head.
The first edition of Off the Bench.
Back to In the Trenches to Hurricane Hang Time.
And as always,
I'm Shea McDonald. Thank you for joining us. Annie, can't wait for spring break. Look at Jameis Winston, first game! He throws for 300 yards. Deshaun Watson never threw for 300 yards. Drum roll, please. Yep, Bill Belichick.
Oh,
It was bye equals bye for Nick Sirianni. What does this guy do, though? He fixes that defense that's been awful for the last year. Do your job, new mentality, and most importantly, peace and quiet. A lot of people hate the way Sirianni acts. Bill, he won't even talk. So guess what? That fixes that issue entirely. Well, it did look a little bit like a trap game, but the dynamic duo of Xavier Restrepo and Cam Ward got cooking, namely Restrepo with a massive day, 146 yards, 3 touchdowns, 8 receptions, breaking tackles over the middle of the field. He had a phenomenal day, and he made a bunch of big plays like this, where a contested catch in the red zone, in the end zone, and none other than this play for the record books. And now he's boosting Miami up top the college football rankings, third in the first official college football playoff bracket, and it could be massive as they go into this week against Georgia Tech.
And you could tell Cam Ward knows he's going number one if you've seen his Twitch streams talking online that Traylon Burks is a top 5 receiver.
Right.
Tajay Spears a top 4 running back. You know, he clearly knows he's going number one overall, and he has a right to show off, brag about it. A lot of these times watching him play, it's not really aggression. It wasn't really aggression early on. It was aggression in the second half when these games started to get out of hand. And I think that goes back to like Miami's consistent issues, is that not having a consistent playmaker to go and set guys up, to get guys involved. But number 2 is really interesting here. The Browns could go a bunch of different ways with this pick. They desperately do need a quarterback, but what I think they need more is great players. And I'm going with the player who I think is the best player in this entire draft, and that's Travis Hunter at number 2.
Okay.
The guy can play on both offense and defense. Andrew Berry was talking about it. They view him as a receiver, but they're not going to limit his ability to play on both sides of the football, and I think that's going to make him such a special player in the NFL.
Well, I might not have clues, I might not have keys, but I have Shea's takeaways. And first one, swarm the ball, and that's especially true if this guy is healthy. Haynes King, look at the Georgia Tech offense with and without him. As you can see, all the numbers down to the past 2 games. If he's healthy, he could be a massive problem for Miami, especially on the ground. Now, second thing, you gotta create chaos in the hive, and I'm talking about turnovers right there. Look, Miami struggles in the turnover game, but last week 3 interceptions, 4 turnovers overall. If the secondary can capitalize on more mistakes from Georgia Tech, it could be massive for Miami. Now, lastly, you gotta not force the sting. We know Cam Ward, he specializes in the spectacular, but can get him in trouble. Look at this right here, rolling outside, looking back over the middle. It looks exactly like his pick 6 against Virginia Tech, and if he can keep those plays to a minimum, it would be massive for Miami.
Personally, I am a really big fan of the hire. I think bringing in a guy who's young, who's fresh, who can kind of navigate this new world of NIL. We heard Jim Larinaga talk about it on his way out. It's frustrating dealing with all this, especially trying to change the way you've done and how you operate for so long. I think bringing in a guy who's fresh and can develop his mentality around NIL as the players develop into this new world is very exciting to see. Probably one of the most obvious picks in this draft. Bryce Young needs weapons, and I'm going to get him a big X receiver with Ted McMillan here at number 8.
That is crazy.
There's a little bit of speculation because there are questions about Ted McMillan. Obviously, the separation when you're these big receivers, his best games were not against the best teams, so I get the concerns that go there, but when you're a guy like Bryce Young, he's small in the pocket. Sometimes you can't see over those offensive linemen. You just need a guy who can go up and make a play. Ted McMillan does that the best of anybody, really in this draft.
And to get it started, it's going to be Jake Ogden ripping this one into left field, getting on his second base. And following up is going to be Max Galvin skying this one high. It looks like it's got, but Georgia Tech is going to lose it in the sun here, dropping right there, going to move Ogden to third, and Tanner Smith gonna drive both of them home. It's Curry from way downtown, and the words from Mike Breen, bang, to end the first half. And now Divine Ukachukwu, Euro step layup finishing above the trees, a phenomenal play by the freshman point guard. And speaking of freshmen, it's Jalil Bethea, hop step midi. What a move, poor fielding by Georgia Tech all day. The Canes are getting rowdy in the dugout right there. And now Georgia Tech can't get anything going. Another out, Miami is up and they are cooking. Tate DeRice is firing missiles on the mound. The goalie is stunned right here. Some say luck, I say skill. Watch how he purposely turns his head here to knock it in for a goal. And that's going to power the Rangers to a 4-0 victory against the Islanders. Now he's putting KCP in the torture chamber right here. Another 3, and for the dagger, Curry going to get Paolo Poundcare to jump, and it's good. 56 points, 12 threes, and that's your play of the day. Cleveland pivoting, spinning off his back foot jumper from Cleveland, 32 points on the night, a new career high. The Canes will not be denied, just like Jaleel Bethea will not be denied at the rim. Counted and 1 for the freshman 5-star. But the Canes are going to wrap it up with this right here. It's going to be 1 out, 2 outs, and 3 wins. Miami gets out their brooms, celebrating with a 10-2 victory against Georgia Tech. The University of Miami's most successful women's basketball coach is taking her skills off the court and into the classroom. After stepping down as a coach in 2024, Katie Meier now teaches the course and administration of intercollegiate athletics. The course focuses on the current state of college sports, but instead of relying on a textbook, Meier uses her years of first-hand experience to teach her students.
Well, it's hard. I remember when they said, okay, we'll find a textbook, and I'm like, well, how could there be a textbook right now?
It's challenging to keep up with all the movement in college sports, but that's part of the draw for Meier.
And to be teaching at this time where so much is changing and we have no idea where it's all going to end up, I'm glad I'm teaching because it's keeping me current too.
Whether discussing NIL, DEI, or analyzing bracket building, Meier is as passionate about teaching as she was about coaching.
Like, I'm trying to open doors for you all that I've walked through that made my life awesome, and I just want to, and I did that with my players, and now I get to do it with my students.
The World Alai League started in 2018 and featured former Hurricane athletes whose transition into the sport with over 100 years of history in South Florida was shown in the documentary Magic City Hustle, a transition that wasn't easy.
We had a lot of fans showing up that were hardcore highlight fans that knew the game, that understood the etiquette of highlight, and we were not giving them that look.
Since then, the league's expanded from just about 20 players with no experience in Alai to a diverse league filled with international players helping grow the sport even further. Savin has been responsible for many of the league's changes, from adopting a team format to changing the courts to speed up the game to using social media. He's been active in the league's growth.
I'll get calls at 8 in the morning or 9, 10 at night, talking about something or asking about the league. And if you have a commissioner that cares and pays that close of attention, you don't see that every day.
This constant evolution has pushed the league forward, now even streamed on ESPN. And as the years go by, the game only continues to progress. Almost every day in Aventura, you can find athletes of all levels flooding in and out of Pete Bomarito's training facility. Having coached football at every step, he's taking what he's learned with the pros and giving it to the youth.
So I just thought it was a brilliant concept how they were trying to treat kids as professional athletes with specific modifications based on growth spurts. So my idea was to take that entire concept and bring it to the masses, not just the people that could afford like an IMG.
Bomarito has become the go-to guy for those looking to take their game to the next level. Across fields, you can find pros like Commanders leading receiver Terry McLaurin, Rams leading running back Kyron Williams, and the list of pros that come through this building goes on and on. As he works with top-tier athletes through the draft, training camp, and more, he uses the latest in sports science to attack specific weaknesses and help guys grow. Welcome back to another episode of Off the Bench. Today we're about to get in the mud and some rugby. Today we're here with the Miami Motion Dance team. It's raining a little bit, but we braved the elements for what should be a pretty interesting episode. Without further ado, let's get ready. Before anything started, the coach gave me one piece of advice to stick to. What?
Enthusiasm.
Okay. So after having that wisdom bestowed upon me, we got into the drills, practiced some of the basics, and aside from one little thing, I was pretty decent. I didn't mess with the drill. I'm more gassed than I thought I would be. And I even got a tackle here and there, though, as you can also see, sometimes was not the best idea. With my lockdown defense already on display, there was one more thing I needed to showcase, and that is what I could really do with the ball in my hands. We broke down the steps one by one, building our way up, and through the first third of it, it wasn't the worst thing possible. I was moving a little bit, and as you can see right here, look at the finish. Look at the finish. Through some watching, learning, and a whole lot of coercing, here was the final product. And now for the grand finale of this episode of Off the Bench.
Only been a few weeks, how can
Not that bad.
And that's been this edition of Off the Bench. For today and for always, I've been Shea McDonald. Be sure to tune in next Friday for another episode, same time, same place. Thank you and have a great day.